Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zach Friedman of Voidstar Lab, and you are in my face. Today, I continue my blatant ripoff of Mark Rosewater's Drive to Work, except this time it's Zach Friedman's Drive from Work. Two Jewish creatives, two automotive journeys, two different pieces of hardware. So let's begin. It's actually recorded November 10th, 2013, the night of last time I recorded a podcast. However, you are in the future, and being in the future, you have a responsibility to do things better than me. So learn from my mistakes and don't record podcasts or use your Google Glass or other wearable technology while behind the wheel in the state of New Jersey. It's illegal. So where I left off was talking about the archetypes of wearable technology, the dashboard, the app, and the wearable computer. Now, I've been wearing my glass around today, and I was wearing it around Amanda Parks Amanda Parks, fashion technologist, who brought up the very valid point I'd forgotten fashion technology. So I think we should talk about fashion technology today. I am a semantics whore, and as any semantics whore should, I'm very particular about my terms. In particular, I draw a very sharp line between wearable technology and fashion technology. To me, they're very different things. Although the media and, to be honest, let's be frank, people in fashion technology don't like drawing a distinction. They argue that all wearable argue either that all wearable technology is fashion technology or that all fashion technology is wearable technology. I think I'll get to those too. It's 9:15 on a Sunday, so it's maybe a short ride. Might as well jump right into it. This installation involved my current client's installation, and it involves a lot of dust. It's part of the installation, and I'm gonna need a whole bunch of water. I think that buzzing in my pocket is my phone dying. Anyways, let's get down to business. So wearable technology and fashion technology they have a lot in common. I mean, let's approach this as if they were the same thing. You know, when I'm talking about what I'm talking about, I'm ultimately talking about taking electronics and putting them on your body. This is even now, like, we're starting to get dragged down into semantics hell, because we can draw a distinction between wearable electric wearables and wearable technology. And electric wearable being like a headlamp or a heated jacket, or even like those kids lighted shoes. This distinction is actually very important to the differentiation, I believe. Either way, we're talking about taking electronics and attaching them into your body. The distinction I draw is that wearable technology, to me, is very utilitarian. It's you're putting the point of a piece of wearable technology is to give the human superpowers. Aesthetics, because it's mounted on your body, aesthetics are inextricable from it. So there is an aesthetic concern, but it's really secondary. You're wearing the technology because it makes you superior, or makes your life easier, or makes you happier, or something. To me, fashion technology, on the other hand, is it's the aesthetics. It's that the electronics and technology serve to make an aesthetic statement, to make a fashion statement. The technology is a way of accomplishing that. Whether or not it has any utilitarian value is kind of secondary. So in a way, to me, they're opposites. I draw a distinction because it's entirely possible to have a piece of wearable technology that's not fashionable at all, and to have a fashion item that you could argue doesn't really incorporate much technology. Let's do the reductio ad absurdum on either side. A piece of something that's straight up fashion technology, barely be argued that's wearable technology, is I mean, kids light up sneakers, sort of. But Lady Gaga's, like Lady Gaga's dress. Oh, Daft Punk. The Daft Punk helmets. Daft Punk have wired their trademark chrome helmets with electroluminescent wire, so that when they're doing their show, the EL wire, flashes and pulses. It doesn't give them anything except for looking really cool. It doesn't grant them anything. It doesn't allow them to see new things or to connect to the internet or anything. It just makes them stand out in a crowd and look really cool. On the other hand, let's talk about something that's purely wearable technology. Purely wearable technology is the Cybernaut. The Cybernaut was a wearable computer from the 90s, back when cyberpunk was made. Back when, in an alternate universe, cyberpunk became normal and took over the world. The original Cybernaut was a wearable computer that had the computer part was in a belt pouch. Remember, mobile processors didn't exist at the time, so it was like a Celeron or something. With active cooling with a fan that went in a belt pack. Nickel cadmium batteries, and you had a keypad and a monitor strapped to one arm. Huge, clunky. It was a computer that was divided into pieces and stuck on your body. Not fashionable at all. In fact, it covered up your fashion because blocked your entire arm and a lot of your belt. So yeah. Now there are things that muddle the distinction between these, which is ultimately this is a philosophical argument, right? We're talking aesthetics and utility. This isn't science. This isn't engineering. The lines are going to get blurred. It's being a semantics whore in this is, depending on how you look at it, great or terrible. It's great because I don't need any evidence to back up my claims. It's terrible because nothing's concrete. Everyone's going to argue with me. So I fully expect you to argue the hell out of me in comments. Anyways, let's talk philosophy and the fuzzy lines between aesthetics and utility. A piece of someone who my point is that the point I try to make is that fashion technology and wearable technology are different and distinct. Not to say it's not a value judgment. I do make a value judgment. My value judgment is that given a choice between being materially superior and being aesthetically expressive, I always pick being superior over being expressive. It doesn't matter. To me, people judge you on how you look, but if you are truly head and shoulders better than the alternatives, if you are truly head and shoulders the best, people can mock you all you want, but they must respect you. That aside, when I talk about the distinction between them, I'm not making a value judgment in that. All I'm saying is that they're different, and that more importantly, that difference is important. Now, disclaimers aside, let's get back to the nuts and bolts. We have people on either side who will dispute that. You have, with Amanda really opened my eyes to this side of the issue. I hadn't really thought about it before, but from someone who's really fashion focused, they'll argue that fashion technology and wearable technology are the same because everything that you wear is a fashion statement. Even if you say, I don't care about fashion, the decision, the outcome of that reflects on you. You have made a decision to not care about fashion that carries through in your aesthetics. She and many other people argue that all wearable technology is fashion technology because it becomes a part of your fashion. To me, fashion is something which is external. You wear it because you are judged on it. But to other people, fashion is expressive. You wear it because it's a part of who you are. And even under that, you could say that, if a truly excellent wearable becomes part of who you are, I mean, when I think of that, it's on a much less philosophical standpoint, but it's a very valid argument. You're making an aesthetic choice, which causes them to be the same. To me, the argument it's a great argument. It's really eye-opening because it really goes into the differences between how people approach wearables, the different philosophies. That said, I don't think it's strong enough. I don't think it's strong enough to sway me into not drawing a dichotomy. In part because, yes, it's true, but that isn't to say that you can, but it's like, to me, it's, what's a way of saying it? You have to be very precise with your words with these things. It's not strong enough. It's not drawing a strong enough, a hard enough line. It's like, to me, a piece of wearable technology is something that is, it doesn't matter if it looks like ass. I mean, like, it could literally make people make fun of you. Like, it could get people to beat you up, but you would still wear it because it's giving you a superpower. I mean, if we're talking like best piece of wearable technology I can think of, that like that is on the hardest, hardest to the right of that is the hardest right wing wearable. It's got to be like the Rhino. Like the U.S. Army. U.S. Army commandos. At this point, I think a lot of infantry as well have this mount on their helmets called the Rhino, and you have this swing down night vision scope. This infrared scope that attaches to it, and the thing looks idiotic. I mean, when it's up, you got this lump attached to your head, not doing anything. When it's down, it looks like your eyes are poking out, 6 inches from your face, like like you're a cartoon. It looks terrible, but but frankly, it doesn't matter what it looks like. They make like the army guys make fun of each other for wearing it. The enemy combatants make fun of them for wearing it. Other armies make fun of them for wearing it. But at the end of the day, when you're breaching and clearing, and your team has cut power, and your team has cut power, the enemy is blind. You guys are just walking through like it's daylight with infrared flashlights. Frankly, it doesn't matter what the aesthetic considerations are. They can laugh all they want, but you're better. Let's swing around to the opposite side. A lot of technologists, engineers especially, will argue that all fashion technology is wearable. That Lady Gaga's LED festooned suit jacket is wearable technology. Again, like, it's hard to dispute it, because if we're arguing that technology is things that did not things that did not exist prior to 1950. If it's things that Robert Scoble would give a shit about, I broke my rule again. Then yeah, you're right. I mean, like, I gotta give it to you. Technically it's technology. But that said, like, technology, like, I'm a hardcore technologist here. The word yeah, that's right. I'm getting into etymology here. I'm that pretentious. The word technology comes from the Greek techne, meaning skill. Technology is applied skills. It enhances them, and it bestows them, and it hones them. Lady Gaga's LED jacket does not incorporate any significant technology. It might incorporate technology on the back end, for instance, a microcontroller used to sequence all those LEDs, but it doesn't give her access to any of that technology. She is, for all intents and purposes, a neurotypical, physiologically normal human being that happens to blink. I don't think it's strong. It's not a strong enough argument to say that it's not wearable technology. There are definitely fashion items that incorporate wearable technology. You know what? All right, I'm not going to digress here yet. I want to keep drilling this point home. Yeah, you're right. You see, I'm driving the speed limit. It's just not a strong argument. This also goes for especially wearable sensors. Fitbit. All right, we might touch on that. It's just not strong enough. It's there is technology, you are wearing it, but maybe it's more of what I'm getting at is, like, I'm drawing more of a distinction between wearable technology and wearable computing. I think that might be I think that might clarify a little. I'm talking, I subscribe very much to the 90s notion of wearable computing, of like attaching a computer to your body. The Gargoyles, Neuromancer, Snow Crash, etc. What was it called? Accelerando, that type of stuff. And like in those, you had people who had powers effectively because of the technology they wore. taking a bunch of electroluminescent wire and giving yourself giving your favorite backpack Tron piping, it looks cool, but and it might prove a point about how tech savvy you are, right? It's a great aesthetic statement, but it's not giving you anything. It's not doing anything for you. You're a normal human with effectively a normal backpack. Look, let's be honest. You make your Tron backpack like that famous Instructable, and it doesn't even give the backpack special powers, right? It doesn't let it store more. It won't charge your gadgets. It doesn't. It might make your bag easier to find at night, but harder to steal, but it wasn't intended for that. It just makes it look cool. It's all aesthetics. It's all form, minimal function. And let's not forget, people on both camps, right? Die-hard technologists who want to say that fashion technology is wearable tech, and die-hard, fashion people who want to think that all wearable technology is a fashion statement. You can all make up justifications after the fact, but intention matters here. We're talking technology. This is not naturally occurring stuff. People made this with intention, and their intention translates into the product. Yes, you could argue that for instance, that a Google Glass is a fashion statement and reflects on you. That's true, but because Google Glass is a gray area. I want to draw harder lines. You could say that the U.S. Army's Rhino system has really made a statement, and now it's made it cool. Now it's cool. But it wasn't developed to be cool. It was developed to give the soldiers an edge. On the other side, you could say that putting in sensor, making not Lady Ada. What's her name? It's Lemore Freed's partner. I gotta talk about Lemore Freed. Man, I gotta fucking go out for more drives. I cursed again. Becky Stern. Becky Stern's heartbeat headband it's this light up headband that beats along with your heart. You could say I could diagnose health problems and convey your emotional state to others, but it wasn't designed for that. It was designed to look cool and to draw attention. It's an aesthetic statement. It's peacocking. You can say whatever you want after the fact, but intention is relevant. So, that said, we got this. That leaves us with gray areas. As always, there are always gray areas, especially in philosophy. One of them is the Fitbit. These fitness devices. You could argue, these are interesting to evaluate from both sides because, on both lenses, because you could argue very convincingly that they are neither a piece of wearable technology or wearable computer, I guess, nor a fashion statement. I mean, these devices are designed to be small and unintrusive, so you could argue that simply by doing that, it's not fashion. I mean, how could a device designed to be hidden be a fashion statement? Especially if you're wearing it in a way that's being hidden. Like, for instance, wearing your Fitbit clipped onto your underwear so that no one sees it. How could it be a fashion statement? I mean, if no one can see it, is it fashion if no one can see it? Is it stylish to wear nice underwear if you're not gonna take your pants off? On the other hand, you could argue it's not really a wearable computer either, because it doesn't do anything for you. It might it might show you the number of steps you've taken, but the bulk of its functionality is only available once you've imported that data and crunched it using a more powerful computer. So you could argue it's neither. What's another gray? Another especially gray area. Let's think. Oh man, I lost my train of thought here. I got to roll back. Yeah. You know what? I think I've had enough ranting about semantic ranting. Yeah, fashion technology and wearable technology. You know what? I guess I want to close this stupid semantics argument with something that can be applicable. If you are in the business of fashion and wearables, you have to remember that both of these are relevant. I mean, I draw a very sharp distinction. Between fashion and technology. People who are in the business, the fashionistas and the technologists and the trendsetters, they might not draw as hard a line as I do, but they do acknowledge that there is a distinction. The media doesn't. Laymen don't. Laymen do not acknowledge any difference whatsoever between Google Glass and Becky Stern's light-up headband. If you are developing a wearable, you have to remember this. You will be judged on both. If you make a clunky wearable, people will say it's not. You will be judged on the fact that it's ugly and unfashionable. If you make a piece of fashion technology with no real benefit, people will judge you on how. People judge it on how like, oh, it's cute, but it doesn't really do anything. It's a waste of resources. You got to remember to cover your bases. Your Google was like, this is the gray area with Google Glass that I am now glad that I could segue into in a nice way. Google covered their bases so well here. They covered their ass beautifully. Google Glass has just enough functionality that you could argue that it is a functional device with real live utility. It also is just sexy enough that you could argue that it's fashion technology and that it's nice enough to wear on a daily basis. Google was very clever here, far more clever than I gave them credit for at first. I've been wearing this thing around for 2 days now, and whereas where I was wearing my own wearables, for the most part I got ignored. They were very clunky, wires all over the place. I got ignored, I believe, because people thought I was an attention whore and they didn't want to indulge me. Google Glass, I get a lot of attention. And for all you gentlemen out there who say that this thing will never get you any... Fuck it, I'm bleeping this out, pussy. They argue that Google Glass will not get you any pussy. I've talked to like 4 women over the last... Fucking 4 women on my commutes today alone. But I'm talking real women, real conversations, prompted by the Google Glass. If you think I'm BSing you, right? You don't have to trust me, right? I don't want you to trust me. I don't want you to give me the benefit of the doubt. I want you to read, and I don't want you to read about technology. I want you to read about pickup artistry. I want you to pick up your choice of, if you feel technical, pick up the mystery method. You can pirate it. Sorry, mystery. Otherwise, pick up the game and read it. Either one, you want to look for the keyword peacocking. Read up a little about peacocking and then realize why, regardless whether your wearable is a fashion technology or a piece of wearable technology, you're going, if you have the confidence to do so, you will pick up women with it. The wearable technology sets you apart. When you're wearing it, you are not like the people around you. It's people who are wearing wearable technology are not like you. Likewise, it's very important that if you're able to navigate this gulf with some finesse, if you're able to be cool and confident when attention is on you, you get the most out of the fashion aspect. Likewise, if you are a cool, collected, and confident guy, you can bypass a little bit of the social stigma and get more value out of a less fashionable wearable. Either way, developers, remember that both both of these are relevant. And designers, remember that users will find their own fashion. And with that, thanks for getting in my head. Again, this is Zach Freeman of Void Star Lab. And, I don't know. I'll see you in the future.